position at the head of the field against a Halifax side decimated by injury. Valley Parade's been bringing out the best in the players this year. Can the Bulls fire again, or will the Blue Sox claim an unlikely victory? Bradford on top of the table by a point from Hull. Tucked in behind them, Wigan. What a match there tomorrow. Saints and Leeds complete the five. Halifax needs to start winning to keep in touch with the playoff places. This is the Blue Sox dressing room, and here's the team. Donlan at fullback, Marnes, Gibson, Moana, Lawford, Clinch and Lee. Goldspink, Lawless, Gannon, McMenemy, Davidson and Tickle. And on the bench, Bloom, Hughes, Hassan and Brocklehurst. The coach, Steve Linnane. The Bradford Bulls, a mighty performance a week ago against Leeds. Withers, Vicona, Naylor's back, Gilmore, Price, the two Paul boys. And the forwards, Joe Bangener, James Lowes, Brian McDermott, Danny Gartner, Jamie Peacock, Mike Forshaw. And the bench, Deacon, Anderson, Radford, Fielden. Heavyweights for Brian Noble. The balloons head skyward, the skies have cleared, and the crowd has turned out at Valley Parade for another big night for the Bradford Bulls. Looking odds on to reach their second grand final in 3 years. Topped by a point, as you saw from Hull. Match referee is Russell Smith. Steve-O, Halifax with a massive task tonight. So many players missing.
It won't be easy for them, and especially the way that the Bulls have been playing. They absolutely took Leeds apart last week. But they'll be buoyed by the fact that they should have won. That's Halifax, of course, against St Helens last week. It was only a last gasp win by the Saints. Whether it will affect them mentally, we'll have to wait and see. But I know for one thing, the Blue Sox will have been fired up by their new coach, Steve Linnane.
Yes, they will. This is their local derby, of course. Halifax against Bradford. Danny Tickle gets us underway here at Valley Parade. Fielding the kickoff is Leon Price. We're underway. And we were making the point just before the match, Steve-O, off there, that Bradford, when you look at that league table, Wigan with a better points for and against record, and it could at the end of the season, who knows, come down to points difference for that top three.
Well, it's important. I'm sure that Brian Noble, the Bulls coach, is fully aware of that. Good opportunity, of course, if they can get off to a flying start and the heads could drop down from Halifax. They are capable, as we know. The Bradford side, Brian Noble knows that if his side really clicks, even though I thought they played one of their best games against Leeds last week, Brian Noble said there was still room for improvement.
First penalty of the match.
Now remember, Eddie, there is no love lost between these two sides.
It was Jamie Thackeray who was in very late with a swinging arm on Brian McDermott there, and McDermott didn't like it.
Silly play. Just went for a second bite. Well, we can do without that. Obviously, Steve Linnane has told his charges to ensure that they get right into the faces of this Bradford outfit. We want to try to contain them just as much like St Helens did in the Challenge Cup final. They can be put off their game. That day certainly proved it.
This is Bangener, and from the penalty, Bradford inside the 20-metre zone with bags of tackles up their sleeves. This is Lee Gilmore now. Gilmore bounces away from one. Davidson nearly got to him. It's certainly going to be uncompromising from Halifax. There's no doubt about that.
Good play there by Matty Firth. Came into the line, made sure that Lowes couldn't offload, forced him down the middle.
This is Gartner though now. Gartner hauled down tight to the touchline. Robbie Paul inside it goes, and that's McDermott again. They're now within a metre and a half. It's back to Robbie Paul. He stabs it. Oh, he's taken it. No, the referee says play on.
Crowd don't like it, but I think Russell Smith has got it right.
Well, it was Danny Tickle who took Robbie Paul, but the referee said it was perfectly legal.
Well, I think Tickle had already put himself on the wall. That's a high shot as well. Well, as I mentioned, there's been trouble between these two clubs in the past.
Well, that was a bit of afters on Thackeray by Brian McDermott.
Things are warming up. This could be a beauty. Over the top, and you can see there that Thackeray was leading with the elbow. This is going to be a hot one.
Andrew Duneman out for Halifax. He's a long-term casualty, their playmaker. And earlier this morning, they lost their fullback, Darryl Cardis, their captain, Brett Goldspink. And there's another penalty for Halifax, taken quickly.
Well, they're playing into the hands of the Blue Sox. Blue Sox want them to get disturbed, not think about their game plan. They want to make it rough and tough. They can match it, don't worry.
This is Tickle, and Lowe's manages to claw him down. Halifax on the chart here with Thackeray.
That looked a mile forward. They delayed the pass there.
Well, now it's Halifax's turn to examine the line, and Gavin Clinch tries to jink inside. But he meets a white wall of defence, but he gets the ball away brilliantly. And that was an opportunity there for Penkovic.
Good offload there by Clinch. Good start for the Blue Sox.
Back he goes to Clinch again. Little dab through, was looking for Donlan. Maybe he was impeded. No, the referee says it's a tap on the 20-metre line to the Bradford Bulls. And here they come now with Henry Paul. Wide it goes to Tavita Vaikona.
Nearly caught Halifax on the hop there. They were slow to get back for the tap on the 20. This is going to be a rough, tough affair. Bradford really can't afford to be. This is a little kick from Clinch. Certainly was taken out. Naylor certainly got the shoulder into it.
Lowe's nearly through. Martin Moana playing today in the centre.
Well, you can see that Lowe's is losing his cool already. Halifax moving up quickly, getting in amongst them. And I can tell you already that this Blue Sox side, they are having a good old natter to the opposition.
Play the ball by McDermott to Lowe's. Wide it goes then to Gartner. Gartner dabs it to the in-goal area. Donlan is there. Donlan took the gamble. Gilmore was hunting. Donlan operating at full-back tonight in place of the injured Cardis.
He did a kick through as well. He took the gamble, didn't he? Lee Gilmore was on hand. Well, sit back and enjoy the hits, because there's going to be plenty tonight.
Another two players out for Halifax. Johnny Lawless, the hooker. I mentioned Goldspink earlier on. So it's a side, this Halifax, decimated by injury, but they're going to be here tonight and giving it their best shot. This is Paul Davidson.
So important that Davidson has a big game, taking on the short blind side. There'll be nothing fancy, I feel, from Halifax tonight, just hard work.
Shane McMenemy is another absentee for them. This, though, is Gannon, who is their captain for the evening. Plays the ball in centre field, and Clinch with a little stab down the line. An invitation to Lee to chase. That's a good kick too. It will stand in the in-goal area. Vaikona, though, is strong, and he gets the ball back into the field of play.
Already showing his worth there, Gavin Clinch. One of the best open kickers in Super League.
Well, Clinch is third in a row at standoff half tonight. And of course, he was one of their best in that glorious season of '98 when they ended third in the table. This, though, is the Bulls in possession with Gilmore, and offside against Halifax, moving up too quickly. Referee allowing Bradford some advantage to see what developed, and nothing did.
Well, Penkovic and Damien Gibson never made any attempt. The referee allowed the advantage rule, non-forthcoming. Well, they've been pretty solid defence from Halifax. They were pleased with this start.
Vangana to his feet, plays the ball to Lowe's, down the short side again to Gilmore.
Well, that's the fifth occasion they've worked that left short side.
Forshaw turns the compliment to Peacock, on then to Robbie Paul, on to Henry. Here is Withers, the fullback, chiming in. Clinch just checking that the Halifax defensive line was formed. It was. This is Vaikona. Bradford looking to find the opening somewhere. On the bounce it goes to Vangana. Suddenly a gap's opened up. Forshaw's arrived in support. It's still Forshaw. Just couldn't get the pass away.
Good work by the prop forward in the tackle.
Through the legs of Robbie Paul to Vangana, out wide to Leon Price. Leon Price up off the legs and will score.
What an effort!
Leon Price has scored for the Bradford Bulls. Referee and touch judging, just checking whether it was a knock-on earlier. No, it wasn't. And so the try is awarded by Russell Smith.
Superb effort there by Leon Price. Just a bit of hesitation by the official Russell Smith. Check with the touch judge to see whether A, did he knock on, or B, was he grounded.
Brilliant work by Robbie Paul there.
Slipped it back on the inside. Oh, that's wonderful second effort. He's coming back into top quality. Gibson took the big gamble, and the big prop forward, not noted for setting up tries like that, but that is a wonderful effort. The youngster is back in top form.
Leon Price with the try, his 6th of the season for the England international. Try in 5 of the last 8 in Super League as well for Leon Price. But Henry Paul is one short of 50 goals for the season. Kicking magnificently this year is Henry Paul. 6-0, the Bulls ahead.
When you see Gibson, he comes out of the line, just move it on, and there the prop forward, Vangana. Super pass, but look at this, what a great effort. You never give in this game, and you can pick up the award. Gibson out of line, simple pass, should have had him. Oh, but what a great effort.
Leon Price's try, there was invention all the way through that. The little flick through the legs of Henry Paul, and then the wonderful pass from Vangana. They're on top of their game at the moment, are the Bulls.
Well, it's obvious that Brian Noble has got the message out to him and say, look, let's not mess around trying to make an arm wrestle of this game. We've got the skills out wide. Oh, that's great work. How many times has Gavin Clinch done that during Super League?
Well, he must be the best one-on-one ball stealer in the competition, there's no doubt. This is Danny Tickle now.
Well, as a young kid, he probably couldn't afford, his family couldn't afford a ball, perhaps.
Well, he's certainly keen to get it off the opposition, there's no doubt about that. This is Matty Firth, here now is Paul Davidson. Big hit on Davidson.
Great defence.
Gilmore and Forshaw. Penkovic the dummy half. Hobson on the charge. Great defence again.
Wonderful stuff.
Forshaw is having a wow of a season.
Well, he's in the loose forward position. He really does relish that.
This is a good kick from Clinch. It's high, it's hanging, it's a test for Michael Withers. He comes up, trumps, gets the ball away to Naylor. Back inside it goes to Vicona. And Vicona flicks it away to Price. And Price is quick. Has Price got the legs of Gibson? Yes, he has. Price over for his second try. That's a fantastic effort from Leon Price and the Bulls. Defending a high kick at one end of the field, and within seconds they're at the other end, scoring their second try of the match.
80 metres of sheer skill and brilliance. Started with a wonderful take from Michael Withers. They are on top form of the Bulls at the moment. Look at the confidence here there. Though he went a bit early, Naylor did ever so well. Vicona takes it on, but it's the ability to offload. We saw last week against Leeds, and that is determination. Not even an artist could emulate that. That was absolutely superb. You set your mind, you get it in the top gear, you say, that's what I want to do. No step on this occasion, just sheer speed.
Well, this for a 12-0 lead for the Bulls, who are going for a 6th straight win at their new home. 12-0 it is. Bradford out of the blocks like a 100-metre sprinter.
They're beginning to resemble a wonderful team in the 80s in Australia, and that was the Parramatta Eels. They were so devastating under the coach Jack Gibson, where they would launch their attack so deep, sometimes behind their own posts. That's how confident they used to play. And this Bradford side very quickly getting to a point where they're emulating that wonderful outfit.
Well, they're scoring at a rate of a point a minute at the moment. They tore Leeds apart last Friday, and having played 6 of the first 10 this year away from Ballyparade, They're looking more and more like the league leaders elect, even at this early stage. Peacock with the drive forward. Thackeray was round the ankles, trying to delay him. Here comes the White onslaught again. 6-all at Headingley after 10 minutes. Leeds Huddersfield 6-0 at St Helens. Saints against the Salford City Reds. Those two matches taking place tonight at the same time as this. We shall keep you in touch with events elsewhere as we watch this game unfold here. Waikona on a run. Davidson gets to him eventually.
Not much forward movement, but you can see that Bradford, they've got the message, let's keep this ball alive.
That's a great bomb.
Plenty of air on that one.
Great bomb, and very well taken by Donlan. Stuart Donlan, the ex-Lee fullback. No stranger to the role, but Halifax missing Darryl Cardis at fullback. He's their leading try scorer this year.
Kick was good, it was high. Leon Price, oh, what a start for this fella. 2 tries within 12 minutes for him.
Offside now, Bradford.
That really will be a relief for the Blue Sox. They've been rocked by those 2 tries by the winger. They knew it was going to be an uphill battle, especially for the youngster Matt Firth, only 20 years of age, coming up against one of the best in the world in Robbie Paul.
Sean Penkovic about to restart the match with a little tap. It's his 19th birthday today. The stand-in Halifax hooker playing for the injured Johnny Lawless. This now is Jamie Thackeray. Good run from him.
Well, he won't give up trying.
Look.
Only a youngster himself, but he works overtime. Oh, great defence.
Yes, Vangana and Tickle hurt there. Danny Tickle, the youngster, a hot tip to be named in the under-18s team that will head off to Australia on Monday.
Ooh, that was a big hit, wasn't it?
That winded him.
Joe Vangana, nothing wrong with the tackle, not high, went right into the rib cage.
And he's badly hurt.
I think it's more thing. It's not that it does anything for your health when the rib cartilages take a hammering like that.
He's up against it, isn't he, Steve Linnane?
Well, when he had 4 players virtually pull out earlier today, everything has to be quickly rearranged.
Yes, there's lots of disruption, and they come into this match knowing they lost 68-18 at the Shea in a Challenge Cup 5th round tie in February, and they lost 62-2 at Odsal in Super League exactly a year ago.
You can see the big shoulder there, the right shoulder of Vangana going straight into him. It's a big problem for Steve Linnane. I mean, when you look at the lineup there, Eddie, Martin Moana having to play in the centres.
This is Matty Firth, there is Moana. He could have got the ball away. Jason Lee had the opportunity. Penalty! And a penalty here to Halifax. Jamie Peacock seemed more interested in wrestling Moana to the ground on a second and third occasion. It's been taken quickly by Gannon. Gannon with a big drive to the line, but Naylor is there. And so too is the man who committed the indiscretion, Peacock. Penkovic, Hobson, on it goes to Clinch. Here's Firth, wide then to Thackeray. Thackeray is almost away from Gardner. Good job that Lowe's was there.
Strong boy, good effort from the prop.
This is Penkovic again. Dropped to the ground by the Bradford defence. Firth at dummy half now. Clinch looks wide for Hobson. Oh, Hobson was just a metre and a half short. Clinch looking to go on his own, flicks the ball out the back door. Penkovic picks up, and it's again good defence on show from Bradford. It's the last tackle here. They're so close, the Blue Sox. It would do their confidence a power of good to get something from this. Clinch's kick comes back into the arms of Firth. The referee will give this to the video referee to check out.
He wants to see if he's a man offside. Was he in front of him?
Paul Davison, who was just in front of him.
Clinch goes for the kick. Yeah, he's in front. This will be no try. Well, they got the look of the bounce, but Davidson was just a fraction in front. And there's little doubt in my mind that it hits Davidson on the back. It does. So therefore, this will count as no try. He was put under a lot of pressure, Gavin Clinch, but this is NOTRY for mine.
Well, let's see what the video referee says. No try it is. Scrum defence. He was just in front, was Paul Davidson. He didn't play at the ball. The ball played him, but he was still in front of the kicker when the kick came in. So accidental offside, scrum down to the defence, no try for Halifax.
Well, that'll certainly lift them, Eddie. They needed something.
Well, at least they got over the line, didn't they, from all that pressure? Oh, here's Naylor.
Well, in the early part of this game, the Blue Sox were moving up extremely quickly. They were getting into the faces, but there's quite a few out there now starting to hesitate.
Offside now, Halifax on halfway. And lots of penalties in the opening 17 minutes of this match.
Quite a few indiscretions too.
Pick the 10 up, lads.
Henry Paul finds touch with that penalty.
Back.
So there is pressure here now for Halifax to withstand again. Peacock. Thackeray got him high up, first got him low down, and then Hobson came in for considerable good measure. Lowe's to McDermott. He will drive it into the 10-metre line.
Pretty flat ball there. That's what the Bulls are doing.
Henry Paul on the run around. Naylor invited to have a crack at the line. Naylor's over the line, but he's held up and pushed back. That's good defence from Halifax.
Outstanding stuff. Andy Hobson leading the way there.
Naylor struggling to get to his feet. Plays it to Lowe's. To Henry Paul, who showed it to Vangana, then tipped it back to his brother Robbie. And Robbie Paul trying to spin away from Hobson, but is grounded right underneath the post again. Lowe's ducking under the tackle.
Back to 6.
It is 6 to go. They will need a 6, I don't think. Here's Vicona. There's another try. They had a man on the overlap out wide. It was the chief, Tavita Vicona, who's really been playing better than this season. And that's the third Bradford try of the night. And these are torrid times for Halifax. But if you're a Bradford Bull supporter, you'll be enjoying this.
Just keep stretching the defence. Good work from Lowe's. And you could see there was definitely a hand in it. It was Martin Moana that brought it back to 6. Naylor gleefully passes out. It's becoming a winger's night so far. 2 from the left wing. The single one for Vicona out here on the right. It is getting a taller and taller mountain to climb for the Blue Sox, I'm afraid.
In a rich vein of form, Tavita Vicona. Try against Leeds last week. 44 tries. This is his 81st appearance. Henry Paul is kicking him from everywhere this season. 18-0.
Talk about confidence. That, well, it was a superb. It was like a golf shot. It just steered around right the way through the try scorer, Tavita Vicona. And it just shows you the importance of how good this coach is at Bradford, Brian Noble. It was pretty hard stuff in the forwards for their first opening 8-9 minutes. And now they've decided to keep the ball alive. And I'm afraid this Blue Sox side, it looks as though they can't live with them.
That's a knock on. Knock on by Michael Withers. He won't have it. He made a grab for it, pull the ball forwards. I think that's what the referee's saying. There it is, yep. Go forwards.
He's got it right. Lost the gum shield in the process. Yep. I've seen them not given.
Halifax won't be complaining. This is Moana. Infield it goes to Damien Gibson. Almost 100 appearances now for the Blue Sox. Moana again, and on the charge is Gannon, and now it's a test of the Bradford defence.
Those stats say it all, don't they? The offloads and the breaks.
Clinch to Firth, good ball to Firth and Tickle.
Good tackle from Robbie.
Great tackle by Robbie Paul. Firth again, Gavin Clinch gives it to Thackeray. Thackeray to try and drive it in again, but there are always 2 and 3 white jerseys there in defence.
A little bit flat in attack there. They really want to come onto the football.
Release it, 5.
And Jamie Bloom has come on for Sean Penkowicz. In straight away dummy half. Clinch with a little dab forward. Well picked up off his own try line though by the Bradford Bulls captain.
Good work, Clinch yet again. The difficult kick to take. They're at it again.
Yes, they've seen that they're a bit short out wide, and then Vicona gets it away to Henry Paul. There now is
not the fastest man in Super League, but he's one of the strongest and determined. Yet again, we see the ability of the Bulls to keep the ball alive. Always on the lookout. They caught them stretched in on the defence. In and out, there's nothing that Jason Lee could do for Vicona. Henry Paul did it all. Went far too high. It was too late. Naylor knew it. He knew he had the strength. They're on fire.
The Bulls are on fire, and you could see what it meant to Henry Paul when he danced a little jig when he congratulated Scott Naylor on his 33rd try for the Bradford Bulls over the past 2 years.
Well, they could rename the stadium Pamplona.
Pamplona? I'm waiting. This is Henry Paul's conversion attempt. Oh, he's kicked another. Well, I got the feeling they're going to run riot tonight. 24-0.
Well, he got pretty close. That's why you run with the Bulls, Eddie, in Spain.
Pamplona. Okay.
By number 6.
You think it's a sausage, don't you? That's what it is. It's nothing to eat. It's a village.
I thought it was just called Pamplona, not Pamplona. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We know now what you're on about.
Are replaced by number 10, Paul Anderson.
Get it Here is Jamie Peacock. Oh, that was a big hit again from Thackeray. Oh, an interference there. It's going to be a penalty to the Bradford Bulls again. Let's go down to pitch side. Bill, news of Gavin Clinch.
Yes, Eddie, it's turning out to be one of those nights for the Halifax Blue Sox. Gavin Clinch, their real playmaker and the architect behind a lot of their go forward, is struggling at the moment. He's just had a dislocated finger put back in. A lot of pain suffered in the process, but according to the Halifax physio, he's tough enough. He's going to tough it out there.
Well, if that's not bad enough for Gavin Clinch and company, the sight of Paul Anderson coming off the bench will certainly not comfort them. Here is Michael Withers. He's away from Clinch. They've got foreshore. Try time. And I don't think there'll be any charity on show here tonight somehow.
You mentioned the fact that the for and against could play an important part later in the season. Who perhaps would finish on top. Wigan, of course, before this game kicked off, just had a better superiority over the Bulls, but this could certainly turn the tide Bradford's way. Easy. We marvelled at the support play that was a witness at Headingley last week, and they are giving their fans something to cheer about. They are on fire, eager, always wanting to support the ball carrier. It's basic rugby league football.
And Henry
boy,
Paul,
oh boy, it works.
Bang in front adds the extras. 25 minutes gone, 30 points to 0. And we are already searching through the record books of here. And the record books tell you that the Super League record score was scored by the Bradford Bulls last year, 96-6 against the Salford City, 96-16, I beg your pardon, against the Salford City Reds. They're looking in record-breaking mood here tonight, and that is not what you want to hear if you're a Halifax fan.
No, it's going to be hard times for them, and of course it brings us back to that point, Eddie, about the side who scores the try then receives possession yet again. We're one of the very few sports who do that.
Yes.
And I know a couple of seasons ago we changed back. I thought we should have stuck to that.
Yes, it does allow the big boys like Bradford to get on a roll. It really does. 10-all at Headingley. Huddersfield are putting up a real show, and 24-0 St Helens are up against the Salford City Reds. They're in the mood as well, the World Club champions. This is Robbie Paul. Wide it goes. Gilmore. Another one. Yes. Danny Gardner. Latest try scorer for Bradford. That's try number 6. I think we'll need the abacus tonight.
Again, just sheer power has got them there. James Lowe's, they held back and they play the ball area. Took full advantage. Good work there from Gilmore. Gardner had plenty to do to get into the corner. But you can see how the defence is hesitating. And you cannot afford to do that against an outfit like the Bradford Bulls, especially when they're in this mood. They are dancing in the aisles here, but it's going to be a long, hard night for the Blue Sox. It's going to take a lot to pull up their ideas.
Well, if it was a boxing match, the referee would already be stepping in and stopping it. Oh, he hits the post. Oh, he's annoyed with himself. That shows you the spirit in this team. That shows you the desire to really pile on the points tonight. 34-0. And Steve Linnane, he knew he was in a real dogfight before he got here. I wonder what he's thinking now.
Just keep it tidy, lads. Keep it tidy.
They've only claimed one victory under Linnane. That was at Salford. But they've lost narrowly by 6 points against St Helens, 12 against Leeds, 10 against Castleford and 2 against Warrington. Not far away from victories, and the team absolutely punctured by injury tonight. Once they get Andrew Duneman and company back, the Blue Sox will be a better side than their league position says at the moment. This is the way it looks over the years between these two. Bradford well in control of things, as you can see.
Paul Naylor just dancing through the tulips there. Neat footwork. But again, watch this Halifax defence. There's no unit. They're not going up as one. Some are hanging back.
Vicona offloads to Withers. Back it goes to Henry Paul. Here's Vicona again. Vicona. Oh, he slipped it back. There was no knock on there. It's play on. How did he get that ball back to Paul?
That was just incredible.
Withers with a dab through. Oh, knock on.
Went backwards, drop out underneath the post.
Yes, under the post, and they're complaining about a knock-on. Jim Gannon, the skipper, complaining about a knock-on that never was actually. The ball didn't hit the ground, and he flicked it back somehow.
Unbelievable juggling act. No, that should have been a knock-on. It hit the ground.
Did it?
Yep. Tackle should have been completed. There was someone hanging around his legs. As soon as it hits the ground, tackle's completed. They were looking to get away with that.
Let him off.
Here it is. Boom. That's it.
Wait.
Knock on. Going forward. Or tackle completed. Either way, Bulls had a stroke of luck.
Well, they need it at 34-0 up. Here's Anderson. Oh, dearie me. Gavin Clinch was just bounced out of the way then. Lowe's. Back it goes to Forshaw. Over the shoulder, says the referee. Not high.
Pretty high from Gannon, in my opinion. Not the referee, though. Oh,
Robbie Paul.
Look how they're hanging off.
Robbie Paul's over the line. He's got it down.
Yeah. He'll give it.
Robbie Paul's got the ball down. Oh, he's not sure.
Shall we get a screen on it?
He's going to hand it on. The referee isn't sure.
By the time I got down, the ball was off.
I think he got it down.
I don't know whether you get a camera shot on it.
Yeah.
If you can't get one, John.
Let me try.
The last I saw the ball, it was off the floor. I've never seen the ball touch the floor.
Russell Smith saying that he was unsighted, didn't see it. But I think you'll see here that on the second attempt, he spins, and that's down. For those viewers who don't miss out Australian coverage from down under, the Australians, their style, they just get both elbows down, still holding the ball, and that is being forced. So I'll go for TRY. He wasn't sighted, and that's the reason why Russell Smith has gone, but I'm pretty confident it's 3 little letters. Oh!
Well, maybe the video referee, John Holdsworth, tonight has taken pity on the Halifax Blue Sox.
Well, he can't believe it, and neither can I, to be fair.
He thinks it's a try. Bradford were all lined up for the kickoff to come.
Well, he goes close. Now, if he's holding the football and he forces it down, it's got to be a try. He hasn't lost it. Hasn't disappeared through his rib cage.
steady, Jamie. Just go down steady, mate. Well done, you.
What more does he have to do?
Well, I don't think the video referee could make the decision because he couldn't see clearly enough. So he's given the benefit of the doubt to the defence. Anyway, Bradford, maybe that'll sting them into action. Vicona, out of the way, Jason Lee. Oh, it's all hands to the pump for the Blue Sox. How can you stop this white tide? Robbie Paul, Henry Paul, wide it goes to Gardner. They've got the man on the overlap. Gilmore, Price for a hat-trick. No, flick back, Gardner. Here is Robbie. He won't be denied this time.
It's exactly the same fashion that he's put the ball down. Russell Smith knows it's a try.
Well, he was stung by that decision. He's made them pay.
Again, we see this hesitation in the Halifax defence. Oh, this is, well, it's sad, really. Decimated by injury, as Eddie has said. Bang! He forces it down exactly the same way as what he did just a second ago.
There are a lot less players around him, to be fair, Steve-O. You actually can see this hitting the deck. I know what you're saying, but I'm trying to defend the video ref.
Well, they got the head and feet at the scrum, okay? So that meant they was held up. If there was any blue underneath Robbie Paul at that moment, then I would like to see it.
Henry Paul to add the extras, maybe. He's kicked another. 40 points to nil. Well, what do you say about this? 40-0 at Valley Parade. Phil Clark, what do you say about this?
I feel slightly sorry for the Halifax Blue Sox. It's almost like middleweights trying to box against heavyweights. But I suppose you've got to pay a lot of credit to Carl Jennings, the Bradford strength and conditioning coach, because his side have tremendous strength, but not only that, excellent technique, and that enables them, when taking the ball forward, to find the front, play the ball quickly, and enable them to get on a roll. It's not really giving the Halifax side time to adjust or get the defensive line set, and it's going to be a very, very long, tough night. Just thinking back to Leon Price's second try, when Ellery Hanley was in his peak, one of the reasons why he scored so many tries was the running he did off the ball. When that bomb went up, Leon Price, of course, on the left wing, eventually getting the ball wide on the right wing and scoring, and that just shows what great player he is.
Yes, they are a great side on a night like this and in this sort of mood. I suppose you have to. There's another penalty. They're trying desperately. 32-10 now. Leeds have eased into the lead against Huddersfield, and 30-0 St Helens over Salford. So the teams at the wrong end of the table up against it, against the teams up at the top.
They just can't get hold of the football, Halifax. That's the reason. And again, I pose that question. Maybe the authorities should look at bringing back.
Well, look at the total metres gained by Bradford. Over 1,000 already. Only 217 by Halifax. That really points up what you're saying.
My word.
Anderson showing his juggling skills.
40
points to nil. 5.5 minutes to half-time. Anderson trying to get to his feet. Does so. Plays it to Lowe's. Robbie Paul. Gartner.
Well, you get the feeling with this crowd here that if they don't score on every play, there's a feeling of disappointment.
Robbie Paul with a little kicking goal. It's fielded. He must have been grounded behind his own line.
He got over it. It was good effort.
Well, they are still
they need a shade of luck. It's good work from Gibson there. They know it's a hopeless task now. If they can just get through the sets of 6. Oh, steady, steady. And thankfully Forshaw just pulled out of that.
That was Phil Hassan, and 61 tackles made and only 1 missed by Bradford, but look at the other
27.
side. Well, that's why the scoreline is so heavy against them. Gavin Clinch with the kick downfield. Underneath it is Michael Withers. I know that they are so disappointed that Stuart Spruce is out for the season, and indeed is contemplating his future at the moment with a shoulder reconstruction due. But what a replacement they have found in Michael Withers at fullback.
He really has taken to it like dead to water, hasn't he? We saw against Leeds last week, it wasn't just his strength, which he has plenty of, but he's a good sidestepper, good balanced runner as well.
Peacock to drive it in, gets the ball away to Lowe's in the tackle, wide it goes to Withers, on to Henry Paul. Henry Paul is stolen again by Clinch. Second time he's done that in the match tonight. Gavin Clinch. Well, he might have a dislocated finger that's had to be put back in place, but look at that.
He's incredible, isn't he? He must have amazing strength in those little arms. The poacher, Gavin Clinch. Well, at least it gives an opportunity to launch some sort of attack, and not only that, but put themselves into a position so that Clinch can put a good kick away and maybe force the ball into the dead in goal area.
That was a good run from Davidson. Here now is Jamie Bloom. Jamie Bloom still going forward. Good run from Davidson has given Halifax this field position. Adam Hughes to Clinch and a high kick out wide. Price is underneath it. He diffused it in goal. And look at the enthusiasm from Price. He wants to get on with this. And he wants the hat-trick, and here he goes. The Halifax defence, though, gets back, and Hassan gets to him.
Just shows you the hard work that they put out on the training paddock. They knew exactly what was happening there. As soon as he passed it, Lowe's with a dummy.
Good run from Lowe's.
I've been critical of Jamie Lowe's this season for not running enough from the dummy half.
Well,
we've seen him do that over the years, but he's certainly back in form now.
They've gone from attack to defence in the space of three, from defence to attack in the space of 3 tackles, the Bulls.
And they've done that on 5 occasions already in this first half.
Here's Robbie Paul. Great tackle, ball and all tackle by Adam Hughes. They'll be glad to see him back in the Halifax side. Henry Paul looked for Vicona then, he wasn't there. This is Withers then on the bounce. They want it spread wide to the left, but Withers fancies taking them on up the middle himself. That's the last tackle for the Bradford Bulls.
Will they go the power play? No, it's a kick from Lowe's.
Knocked back by Gavin Clinch, and Adam Hughes had to be brave then.
Must be great for a coach like Brian Noble to know that on this Bradford side, so many got the capabilities, if I can get it out.
Easy for you to say.
Easy for me to spit it out. Real wobble on the top set then, but so many good field position kickers out there on the Bradford side.
Offside against Bradford here. That's why Halifax are in possession midway inside their own half. Brian Noble is on his way down to the dressing rooms, and he will be well pleased with this first half effort. Of that I am sure. Davidson again. Good drive again. He dropped
lost
that.
Him, but he went backwards.
Clinch,
good referee.
Clinch hands it on to Bloom, and Bloom gets away from Peacock.
Peacock nearly stole that then.
Moana, Clinch again. Clinch taking them on himself. Oh, it was a great ball to Tickle. He just couldn't take it in.
Opportunity bomb there. He knows it too, as well as Tickle. Oh, superb little offload there. Trying his heart out is Gavin Clinch against impossible odds. The young fella Danny Tickle realising that the opportunity to at least slow this Bradford side down for a few moments just went begging.
Half a minute left of this first half, and Halifax will be glad to get into the dressing room, try and reassemble something. What on earth Steve Linnane can say to them, I just don't know. Robbie Paul, that ball, was it pinched from him or did he lose it? Well, the referee says he lost it. So Halifax have it for the last 5 seconds. Bloom, Clinch, Moana. Adam Hughes wants it. Adam Hughes gets it.
That'll be it.
That's one. Is that time, John?
There's the half-time siren. What a job for Steve Linnane. A clash of heads at the end for Henry Paul. But it's just been a try-fest for the Bradford Bulls. 7 tries in that first half. For 7 minutes, it was 0-0. And then Price got a cabaret that would grace a West End show. And then the main event. And the main event tonight has been Brian Noble's team absolutely taking apart these Halifax Blue Sox.
Still, be careful on Gavin.
And it's going to be the Bradford Bulls who get the second half underway. 40 minutes for Halifax to rescue something from this match, even if it's only pride. And the Bulls, oh, that's out on the full from Robbie Paul, not the best start, from Henry Paul, not the best start. The Bulls looking to capitalise on their 40 points to nil half-time score, but not the best beginning from Henry. And it could be that complacency will creep in, Steve-O. 40-0, it's difficult for the players to keep going, obviously.
Yeah, it's hard to concentrate and keep their mind on the job at hand. It's always difficult as well with a lot of the players. They do go into individual stuff rather than play as a unit. And they really did play as a good team unit in that first 40 minutes. But this is a bonus. Bad kick-off. Halifax a chance.
Yes, they're in the Bradford half. Danny Tickle on the charge, but again, stout defence. Steve Linnane doesn't look terribly happy, does he? Why should he, on the wrong end of a 40 points to nil half-time scoreline? But you cannot fault his players. They're trying for all they're worth. They just have had so many injuries, which obviously disrupts the plans. Here's Martin Moana, away from Henry Paul. Fielden is in there quickly. Stuart Fielden, by the way, Halifax is his hometown, and he will want to do well. It's always a battle royal for Fielden, this. Bloom with the kick to the in-goal area, too deep.
Well, the idea was right. They were a little bit slow on that blind side where Bradford has set up. Been around a while, as Jamie Bloom knows it all about, and you can see that Jamie Peacock a little bit lax to fill in. Well, there will be pride, and I'm sure the Blue Sox will offer themselves as much as they can. But it's the big problem for them, of course, is that Bradford, as we saw in that first half, they launched so many of their attacks. They're so confident deep within their own half.
Fielden gets to his feet, plays the ball to Robbie Paul. He goes right and finds Henry. Peacock on the charge for the Bulls. But defence standing firm so far for Halifax. Just 2 minutes into the second half. Robbie Paul. Here's Paul Deacon. Good ball on the inside to Anderson. Solid defence from Tickle low down and Davidson up above. Robbie to Henry again. Here's the midfield bomb. Crossfield actually looking for Leon Price. Oliver Marnes is underneath it. He took it in the field of play, then behind his own line. He's trapped, but he does ever so well. Oliver Marnes did really well then.
Wonderful effort there from Marnes. Oh, they've come up with a really bad mistake.
And it's play on.
You're down, you tackle, penalty.
Oh, it's a penalty now to Halifax. Anderson was tackled, says referee Russell Smith.
Well, is this a sympathy vote? Hassan dropped it. Well, yeah, Hassan definitely had an arm on him.
But the ball, cutting arm, didn't touch the ground.
I know.
Well, sympathy vote, as you say.
I think, yep. He looked a bit bemused, did Paul Anderson.
Hassan with a second chance then. Only to halfway, though. Solid defence from Bradford. Well, what on earth did Steve Linnane say in the dressing room? I wonder if Bill Arthur's got the answer. I'm sure he has.
Well, I'll tell you what, Eddie, Steve Linnane's reaction to that last decision involving Phil Hassan and Paul Anderson was, geez, a bit of luck at last. And that about sums up the Blue Sox night. He's really just told these guys that it's a matter of pride now. They're playing for the self-respect out there because they don't want to go home with an even heavier thumping than they're facing already. And their real desire is to put some points on the board. And that would really, really cheese off the Bradford Bulls, because the message the Bulls have been sent out with is it's all going great, but let's respect the defence as well, because they've done superb on attack. They haven't really been examined in defence. When they are, they want to make sure they're tip-top and they remain scoreless, or they keep the Blue Sox scoreless, because that would send out a real message to the rest of Super League that the Bulls certainly do mean business. The news on Jimmy Lowes, who was replaced at half-time, is that he has damaged his hand and he's been taken off as a precaution.
Well, with a 40-0 scoreline, you can take precautions like that. And there is Lowes on the sideline, watching as the ball is played right in front of him. And it's Vicona, who is grounded on the halfway line. 40-22 after 10 minutes of the second half at Headingley. High scoring there. And big score also at St Helens. 42 points to nil now against Salford. So St Helens are ahead of the clock as far as this match is concerned, and ahead of the Bulls in the scoring stakes at the moment. Henry Paul to Anderson.
such a difficult man to put down, but most importantly, look, there's 4 in attendance. Now, that's good work in defence, but if he can get up and play the ball quickly, and you can see there it's they've kept him down quite a long time, so they've been able to regroup.
This is the last tackle, they're running it. Deacon wide to Gartner. Gartner is tackled. No, he isn't. He flicks it out the back door to Deacon. It's play on. Crossfield kick. He was under pressure from Penkovic, and he took the ball in the field of play again. But once more, good effort there from the Halifax defender. That was Jason Lee.
Did well to scrape over the line, but kicking game from Bradford has been quite superb. We've seen all the skills on show in that first half. Or a bit of a finger in the eye, I think, for Robbie Paul there. Ooh. Now then.
It's on report. It's on report.
We'll put it on report. That's what the official's saying, but that was a late one.
Yeah, it's ain't gone, mate. It's ain't gone.
Well, it started on the football, but then it crept up very, very high, didn't it?
Yeah, Gannon felt it. I think it's hard to say, but it certainly looked a lot worse than perhaps what had occurred. But Gannon went down as though someone had shot him.
I thought he did here, and he's gone underneath.
Well, he had his head very high and back as well, but the incident involving Paul Anderson is on report. They will take a look at that and decide whether there is a charge to answer. The penalty is given in any event.
Bit of relief there for the Halifax, and if they can just keep their kicking, get into the mood of things. They never got even really started after that, after the 9 minutes when the game kicked off. Other than that, they couldn't have the ability. Gavin Clinch couldn't control it, which he can do with his kicking game.
Gannon does well, gets it away. This is Jamie Bloom. Quick play the ball, Clinch, Penkovic, Tickle.
He's worked hard, hasn't he, the loose forward?
Well, he's an outstanding prospect. It's his 20th appearance. Been really informed with the boot this year, though we, of course, haven't seen any evidence of that tonight. This is Phil Hassan on the 10-metre line. 4 tackles gone. 2 still up the sleeves of the Blue Sox. Penkovic wide to Clinch, and further wide it goes to Moana. Pops the ball. Try here. It's a try for Donlan. And at last, something for Halifax and their supporters to shout about. There's one Halifax fan in the middle of all that lot, but behind the sticks, at last they've got something to shout about. And Stuart Donlan has given Halifax Blue Sox at least 4 points with his second try of the year.
All came about from the penalty they gave away, but this is an outstanding pass from Moana. Watch how he just holds it up, sucks in Henry Paul, the gap appeared, and good work from the fullback Donlan. This is a super try. It's a pretty solid defence, and you can see there he just came on the arc from behind the man who offloaded, and that was Moana. That's a fine effort.
Well, Stuart Donlan, whose dad Steve once upon a time played for Wigan and Great Britain, and Donlan, a fullback in the grand final last year of the Northern Ford Premiership for Lee against Dewsbury. Well, I mentioned just a few seconds ago about Danny Tickle's kicking prowess this year. This is the first evidence we've got of it. Let's see if he can kick this. Left-footed kicker, wrong side of the field for him. It doesn't matter, that's a great kick from Tickle. 40 points to 6, the Blue Sox on the board, and they will be delighted about that.
One person who won't be, and that's Brian Noble, the Bradford coach. But this is a super try. See how he comes on the arc, came right from behind Moana. And as soon as Henry Paul was sucked into the big fella, this fullback, Stuart Donlan, came chiming in. Superb. Now then, is this the hornet sting that really sets the nest alive?
Let him up one, to me.
Well, we shall see. We're not around next Friday, by the way, but on Saturday, Wakefield against Leeds at 6 o'clock on Sky Sports 1. And then on Bank Holiday Monday, we're off to the McAlpine to see Huddersfield against St Helens. That's at 8 o'clock, also on Sky Sports 1. So Bank Holiday weekend and Super League on Saturday and Monday next week.
What about a kick there from Clinch? And Vicona around.
Good chase too. They found Withers.
But again, we see that ability to keep this ball alive. Vicona there just looking to offload.
Vicona now from dummy half. Well, you have to credit Halifax for keeping their heads up and keeping their spirit despite that, well, onslaught that they faced in the first half. Peacock offloads, and here's Vicona again. A flick out the back door, and Fielden. He's surrounded by Blue, but he's taking them on again. In the end, Davidson and Gannon get him to the ground. Well, the scoring rate for Bradford has slowed up. Here is Robbie Paul. Ooh, he felt that.
Went right into that one. He's running low.
Henry Paul now. High kick to the corner. Well claimed by Jason Lee.
Rob is in a lot of trouble.
He's away as Jason Lee. And Robbie Paul is on his haunches, breathing deeply. Oliver Marnes now.
Well, Noble will be getting the message across saying, hey, come on. They're starting to boss this game now, Halifax, in the second half.
Jamie Bloom forced back. They've got the ball away to Clinch. Here's Moana. This is good stuff from the Blue Sox. They've come alive second half. Hughes gets the ball away. And once more, they was forward.
Not happy with it. Gannon.
Just keep quiet.
Bradford, very lax in defence. Little doubt about it that it went forward. Knock on, call it whatever you may. Be head and feet to Bradford, but
Jim Gannon saying the ball was knocked back by a Bradford player. And Halifax are bossing it in the second half.
And that will not please Brian Neville. Steve Linnane, for once during this evening, chance to smile. He's certainly got the capabilities out there, as I mentioned earlier. Gavin Clinch knows how to control things with his short kicking game. Brian Noble, as Bill Arthur mentioned, wanted to keep them scoreless. Well, they've got 6, and if they don't buck up their ideas, this Bulls outfit, they could concede more.
Very difficult, Steve, as we said right at the start of the second half, to maintain your concentration, keep it going. I know that points difference is going to be important.
If you're going to be a top,
it's human nature.
If you're going to be a top side, you've got to really give it to the opposition. No sympathy. You've got to throw down that gauntlet.
This is Forshaw. Withers held on to it, but this is the best spell of the match for the Halifax Blue Sox. This now is Fielden. Fielden is grounded on halfway. I must say, Gannon is the number 10 there, is playing a real captain's part tonight, standing in for the injured Brett Goldspink.
Another problem, of course, is that if you sort of just go down to half pace, it's inevitable that sometimes you come up with an injury. You've got to really get yourself motivated to go 100% all the time.
Here's Damien Gibson now. They're going 100%. Halifax Blue Sox in this second half.
Great effort.
It is. They're leading in the second half 6-0, but the match itself is 14 points to 6 and way beyond them. But credit the Blue Sox for this. Davidson.
I think it was an official from Halifax that came up with the idea that shouldn't you get a point if you actually won half?
Yes, a former Halifax official, you're right. You weren't terribly impressed with that, were you? Moana with the kick downfield. Oh, that was a missed kick, and I tell you what, Vicona's really lucky to get away with that. He's dumped into touch anyway, but Vicona didn't want to know, and he pointed and said, it's yours. Look,
what on earth are they doing?
Withers and Vicona in a right old tangle.
Well, I can't believe that. He just stopped, pointed, and said, Withers, this is yours. Here, mate, look.
Well, if Jason Lee had connected with that, that would have been another 4 points.
Certainly would.
It might be it, because they've got head and feet at this scrum.
Well, we talked about maybe it could be an embarrassing situation for Halifax in this second half. It's Bradford who are being embarrassed.
It's Adam Hughes who's got the ball 10 metres away. He plays it now. It's with Gavin Clinch. And Clinch, well, big Paul Anderson against arguably the smallest man on the field, Clinch. Here's Jamie Bloom, the South African. Hauled back. They have the sniff of something, Halifax. Not victory tonight, but certainly to give Bradford a run for the money second half. This is Davidson. Fed by Penkovic, it comes back to Penkovic. Off the ground to Clinch.
Back to 6.
Back to 6 because it came off Henry Paul.
Under a lot of pressure. Can they come up with something now?
Danny Tickle attacking them down the left-hand side.
That's a better tackle from Henry Paul. I've noted in the past Henry Paul for being a pretty solid tackler. He's improved that this season.
Adam Hughes, absent for the last 3, came on as a first-half substitute.
Ooh, not the best pass. They've got away with it, though.
Here's Moana, good ball back on the inside. Donlan again. Donlan goes to ground 4 metres away from the Bradford line.
Well, at least they're asking the question.
Clinch, good ball. Gibson, Price is there.
Good ball in all tackle there from Price.
Great defence from Leon Price. Still with the Blue Sox, though. Penkovic, he's dropped it. Gannon dropped it. And Bradford trying to work it out with Withers.
Well, the Bulls need a polite little kick up the bottom. I'm sure if Brian Noble was on the sideline, he'd run on and give him more than just a polite one.
Big night.
Oh, that'll be a penalty.
Big night for Andrew Brocklehurst. It is a penalty.
What, me? Impossible. Oh no, he's got it right. He had it away before the second man came in. It's amazing what the video replay can show. That would have been his 3rd of the night. You could see quite clearly that he had got it away before the man came in.
Double change by Bradford, as I say, big night for Andrew Brocklehurst of the Blue Sox. The 18-year-old making his Super League debut. Scores coming in after an hour, 46-34 at Headingley. Huddersfield fighting back, 46-10 at Knowsley Road after an hour. 14 points to 6 here. We're about 2.5 minutes behind them elsewhere. This now is Deacon. Deacon, he almost found a hole. It was a great tackle by Penkovic.
Good work from the hooker.
Second effort then from Gibson. Play on, says the referee. Here's Forshaw. Forshaw offloads to Robbie Paul. Brilliant hands to Lee Gilmore, who scores. Robbie Paul with magical fingers then. And Lee Gilmore gets his second try of the season. And Bradford about to restore parity again.
Well, this was the injection they need. He's had a big game as Forshaw. Superb pass, wasn't it, from Robbie Paul. Control from the Paul brothers at times is simply breathtaking. That was outstanding. Well finished by Gilmore. He's back to his best as well, but that was sheer class, wasn't it? That's the reason why the 2 Paul brothers are classified as some of the best rugby league players in the world.
The 8th try for Bradford, scored by the 7th different scorer for Bradford Bulls tonight. And Lee Gilmore, Young Player of the Year in 1998 at Wigan, and yet to play in the pack for the Bradford Bulls. Here's Henry Paul. Well, this is a test. This is a test of his kicking. Oh, he's floated it over, you know. This bloke kicks them from everywhere. 46-6.
It was hardly a backswing there.
A little chip.
I think he just took one step, bang. As though he was taking a penalty at football.
By number 6, Henry Paul.
Robbie Paul with the brilliant hands that created that try for Gilmore and proved by Henry Paul's boot. We're coming up to the midpoint of this second half. It's been a much better performance from the Blue Sox, but well, now they might tire. Well, coming up shortly, the month of June, flaming June, I hope, and we have the Origin game exclusively live for you from Headingley. Yorkshire against Lancashire on Tuesday night at 7:30, the 5th of June. Yorkshire-Lancashire, the Origin game, and the State of Origin 2 from the other side of the world, Sunday, June the 10th, 5 days later. Sky Sports 2 at 10:30 in the morning, and the Blues of New South Wales simply have to win that, otherwise Queensland will record a series victory. That will be a corker.
That will be a classic. That'll be tough. And talking of tough, I'm glad that the experienced referee Russell Smith is out there, because I think this could start getting a little bit tasty.
Deacon, looping pass, Henry Paul, who stops, waits for Deacon to come back on the run around. A drive in then from Jamie Peacock. Back it goes to Henry Paul, brilliantly picked up again. And this now is Scott Naylor. Well, when they ping it about, Bradford are a delight to watch. Forshaw, Henry Paul again, Radford on the charge, underneath the Halifax sticks, 2 tackles remaining.
He impresses me, this fella. Lee Radford, so strong.
Henry Paul tried to change the direction, but it was well watched by Thackeray. Robbie Paul, Deacon, a dab through, and just kicked over the dead ball line by Gavin Clinch. It's a dropout coming up from underneath the Blue Sox posts.
Neat little kick through there by Deacon. Clinch realises that it would have made any difference. Look at the hands there. It's just like super glue all over his fingertips. Outstanding. And Bradford, of course, pretty confident also that they'll keep Henry Paul in rugby league.
Yes, man of the match time, 09009 10-10-13 in the UK, 15-15, 92, 35, 56 in the Republic of Ireland. Vote now, win yourselves a couple of grand final tickets for October the 13th at Old Trafford, and all you have to do is agree with Steve-O and Phil, who will be making their choice shortly. Robbie Paul, back to Stuart Fielden. Henry Paul, yes, you're right. Bradford Bulls coach Brian Noble hopeful that he will keep Henry Paul in rugby league, and that would be wonderful news for the game.
Seem pretty confident.
Well, let's not count any chickens, but let's just keep our fingers crossed. Vicona, back to Deacon, long crossfield kick coming in, looking for Gilmore, looking for Price, found Marnes. Well done.
What a great take. Under a lot of pressure there from Price.
And Leon Price was hurt then, going for that. He's hurt his wrist or dislocated a finger. He's in a bit of pain.
Release, come back!
He's got another 7, that's what the doctors used to say in the olden days. Stop worrying about it. We'll put it back. We've got another 7 and 2 thumbs. Full of sympathy, doctors at times.
So are commentators by the sound of it.
I try my best.
Gavin Clinch over the top with the kick. And Leon Price, well, he's got the problem with the hand. You wouldn't believe so, would you? And he fires the pass wide to Gilmore, who's taking Gibson on out wide, but Gibson does well with help from Marnes. Down he goes. Price again. Here's Radford.
Halifax desperate to try to slow things down, messing around at the play the ball.
Deacon, Henry, Naylor, Vicona. They're trying to run Halifax off their feet out wide.
Jamie, come on!
Well, that's what they did after the initial 10 minutes of this game. And it certainly paid off handsomely.
Quick play the balls as well, getting Halifax on the back peg. It's with Fielden.
Let him off, five! Let him off! Let him off! Get up!
Good defence yet again from Danny Tickle.
The referee shouting, let him up, and they wouldn't, but there's a little dab in to the danger area by Deacon, and Marnes is having a fine second half.
He read it well, anticipating that Deacon would put that little kick through.
Oliver Marnes, former Academy international. He had soccer trials with Oldham Athletic once upon a time, did Oliver Marnes, and made the right choice. Well, 64.5 minutes gone. A much better display in the second half from Halifax. It's 6-all second half. Phil Clark, much better from the Blue Sox.
They say nothing endures like character, and Halifax have showed that since half-time. It was almost as if they were in awe of the Bulls in the first half, and perhaps like nervous bystanders in Pamplona, they just watched as the Bulls ran past. But really, they've come out, nothing to lose, really got stuck in it. It's just shown what a difference it's made. Everybody just rolling their sleeves up and whatever they can do, just getting in the way of a Bull and trying to do anything to bring him down. It shows the difference it's made. Talking about rule changes that may come in, I'm sure Brian Noble might want to abolish this half-time break, because his side in the last few weeks, well, it certainly breaks their momentum up, and it looks as though now in the last few minutes his side has started to get back in control.
Well, the referee has to give the penalty there. Donlan was all over the top of the grounded player. This is Robbie Paul, chip to the in-goal area, race for Robbie Paul, missed it, backing up his Deacon, he'll score. No, he lost it.
Not only that, he tried to just reach out and get it there, but why on earth did Paul chip over the top so early in the tackle count? I mentioned the fact the individual brilliance, they didn't need to do that. Plenty of tackles spare. Knock on, play on.
Now
they're giving a penalty.
Halifax.
Well, I said it can always be a problem when you know that you've got the game in the pocket, rather than play as a unit, as a team. That have been cock-a-hoop in the dressing room at half-time.
Well, I think the stats will show you that Bradford tend to do all, well, not all, but the majority of their scoring in the first half, and that certainly has been the case tonight. Adam Hughes dumped to the ground.
Wait, hold on, mate. Get him low.
Well, a few of these Bradford players, their egos are not being broken, but they're certainly being bruised a little bit out there.
Gavin Clinch, he's had a fine match in defeat as Clinch. That's good defence though from Henry Paul.
Gonna hand it though to the Blue Sox. I mean, it hasn't been easy for them over the past few years. Money problems.
Oh, good run from Tickle. Great tackle there from Bradford.
But they really have come out of adversity, and they're showing some magnificent effort here. This is outstanding.
Great spirit from them. There's no doubt about that. And they're still in it with Clinch out wide looking for Oliver Marnes. It bounces off Leon Price, and in the end Withers managed to get a knee to it. It was knocked dead by Michael Withers. It's a drop out from underneath their post.
Super kick there from Clinch. He mentioned the fact that he's one of the best kickers in our game, and all it takes is for you to apply that pressure, and they've done that. Stop the roll, stop the juggernauts. I'm afraid Bradford, all their tyres are flat.
52-34 at Headingley, leaving plenty of points with 10 minutes to go, and 54-10 at Nosey Road. Similar story there, plenty of points. Plenty of points here as well. Bradford haven't hit the half-century mark yet. They've got a little over 12 minutes to do it. Keep pace with Leeds Rhinos and the World Club and Super League champions. Stolen, penalty.
Crowd don't like it, but I think he's got it spot on as the official, Russell Smith.
Go, Mr. Simby.
So, chance here again for the Blue Sox.
Well, there's one guy on the Halifax side that really deserves to score a try, and that's Danny Tickle. Both in attack and defence. Oh, he's in.
Held up, is he? Yes, no, it's handed it on to the video ref.
I think he's got it down.
Well, Jamie Bloom, there was a real struggle going on.
May have got over with momentum.
Yep.
He's short.
Oh, he is short. Yeah, you're right, Eddie. There's a momentum getting there.
Yeah, I know what it is. I know, mate. I know what he could have done.
No, I think he's just dragged it a second time. Short there.
Well, it'll be interesting, this.
Well, I thought it was a sympathy vote on one of the decisions earlier.
Oh, he might have got over.
I think they'll give it TRY. And there's quite a few red faces out there.
And the try is given. Jamie Bloom. Fourth try of the season for the South African. A full debut against the Bulls at Odsal in May 1998. They won 21-16 that night. They're not going to win here.
Poor defence there.
They are gaining a bit of respect.
Poor defence. You see, they both went, first and second markers, they virtually went the same way and allowed Bloom the opportunity. Nothing he could do about it. That was a good second effort. Yes. A little bit of pink appearing in some of the faces of the Bradford Bulls.
Well, Danny Tickle is about to add 2 more points, he feels, and after his kick earlier, why not? Two more points it is. And Halifax, from 40-0 down at half-time, lead the second half 12-6.
Well, we saw the crowd, they were booing.
He will be well pleased, though, Steve-O.
Well, and he's every right to be. He's every right, and so the Halifax fans haven't done much to shout about in the first half, but they are certainly bossing things here. And I'm just saying that the Bradford fans, they were booing when the decision came up, TRY, but I think there might be a few of those fans booing their own players as well and saying, hey, come on.
Stay back.
Well, it was a terrific first half, but they've gone a little bit off the boil. Price, though, got it back to Gilmore. And Gilmore fancies it himself.
Great run, that. He is back to his best, is Lee Gilmore. And it's great to see.
Here's McDermott. Offloads to Robbie Paul.
Went back.
Didn't he do well?
Deacon. Forshaw. Deacon again. Henry Paul. Good hands from Bradford now. Peacock. Back to Deacon. Wide it goes to Radford. Radford offloads to McDermott, and McDermott has to take the tackle. Robbie Paul. Stuart Fielden on the charge. Fielden will enjoy that. Hometown club. Halifax again.
That's his momentum.
He just wants to see whether it's short. The momentum's taking him over. They gave the benefit of the doubt to Jamie Bloom a few moments earlier. Surely this will be TRY. It is.
TRY for Stuart Fielden against his hometown club, Halifax. And he had just cupped his ear then to the Halifax supporters. They must have been giving him a bit of stick.
Well, I think a lot of them have been, but that's a good effort there from Fielden. He's worked hard. Had to be scored. And he's big enough and strong enough and tough enough to do it. Come on, let's hear it.
What are you saying about me?
Well, I think that just emphasises the point that I think some of the Bradford players a little bit embarrassed about the second half, but let's not take anything away from Halifax.
Henry Paul nonchalantly adds another 2 points to the total. They've hit the 50 mark, 52-12. It's as we were at half-time, a 14-point advantage. We're late in the game.
It's those 12 points that against the name of Halifax. Look at the effort here. Stretches out, and you can see there that the momentum took him over.
And Bradford Bulls.
Well, Stuart Fielden, the Young Player of the Year 2000. And we've also got, as I mentioned, another Young Player of the Year in Lee Gilmore from 98 and Leon Price from 99. Well, who's your man of the match? There are the telephone numbers for you to ring. Make your vote and agree with Steve-O and Phil tonight. Now then, Bradford looking to run Halifax ragged in the closing 7 minutes. Forshaw, though, is surrounded by Bloom. Jamie Bloom, since he's come on, has been highly effective for the Blue Sox.
Well, they've sorted out their defence. Bit of a swinging arm there from James Gannon. And Fielden didn't like it. He went looking for him.
Here's Henry Paul.
He'd be better served, Fielden, to settle down.
Peacock is wrestled to the ground by Moana.
Paul!
Deacon now. Anderson.
Said in the first half, Eddie, the big problems at Halifax in the defence that they weren't moving up, but look at them now, they are a lot more organised.
It's Gilmore. He puts it forward for Price to chase. Well played. Stuart Donlan.
Well, Leon Price there claiming to the touch judge that it was a voluntary tackle. Pretty close to one, I must say.
Two release!
Could have been a penalty there. Jamie Peacock, another stab at it.
Lead to me, get up!
Well, will we have a rousing finish? What have Halifax left? Their fitness levels, they can be proud of what they've done in the second half.
Yes, a lot of people were tipping them to go a bit quiet in the last quarter, but they have done really well. That's the last.
Well, Steve Linnane, the coach, certainly didn't want them to capitulate, and they have not done that.
That was a kick forward from Gannon.
Not the best.
Underneath it, Michael Withers. Looking to start something here, Withers.
Let him up, Ward! Let him up! Back with me, lads! Come on, Jamie, not silly, mate. Come on.
Price.
Two, release, get up!
Robbie Paul is in at dummy half. Deacon back on the inside to Forshaw.
He's worked hard for Sean,
Three, get up, Ben!
especially in that first half, but difficult to pick out any start in the second half for Bradford. But the breaks there say it all, don't they? 31-5. Shows the Bulls' ability to keep the ball alive. It was an absolute pleasure to watch in the first 40.
Not if you're a Halifax fan, not if you're a Blue Sox player. That's a lovely ball from Deacon. This is Radford. Here is Forshaw, and he will crown a magnificent personal display with a try right under the sticks. Second try for Mike Forshaw.
Well, that might just appease this huge crowd here. And it takes them into the lead even further, but more importantly, they're now trying to boss this second half as well. Beautiful offload there, wasn't it, from Deacon? Great support play. Is that a fine game, as Eddie has already mentioned? So we're getting into them, teasing them, but that was just outstanding, wasn't it? And the youngster back on the inside. Looks simple, but they worked hard for it.
Henry doesn't waste any time, flips it over the bar, adds the extras to Mike Forshaw's try, and Forshaw, on his 120th appearance for the Bradford Bulls, comes up with a two-try performance. Life has turned golden for Forshaw since he arrived in Bradford.
He really has got his second wind, and it's since they shipped him back into that loose forward position, he's relished it.
That's out on the fall, and Jamie Bloom just hangs his head. Penalty on halfway to Bradford, and still time for them to add to this total. Henry Paul dumps it further downfield.
Now, will they use the big fella? This will appease the crowd if Anderson can come streaming onto it.
Just hold it, lads.
Here is the big fellow Anderson.
Not silly, Adam. Let him on, Ward.
As you said in the first half, he is such a difficult man to put down. Wide it goes to Vicona. He just flings it in field. They're scrambling well, the Blue Sox.
Been a tremendous effort in the second half.
Here's Vicona again. Little ankle tap from Jamie Bloom.
Three, get up.
Nice to see Vicona coming in looking for more work.
Deacon misses outfield and finds Henry Paul wide to Leon Price. Hat-trick for Leon Price. Yes!
Yep.
Leon Price gets his third try. He is delighted. Price out wide, and that's where the gaps were. But the try still took some scoring.
They shut the gate, but it was a good step. Beautiful long pass. Henry Paul on the inside. So much upper body strength as this youngster, Leon Price. But the pass from Henry Paul, look at that. Bang. Good effort. Hat-trick time.
His last hat-trick was against Leeds Rhinos in the playoff series last year. Leon Price, the 1999 Young Player of the Year. And Henry Paul adds to the hook, off the post and in.
He enjoyed that.
64-12. They enjoyed it too.
He had one denied in the first half, hit the post and went out. That one went over.
10 goals for Henry Paul, and the one he missed, if I remember rightly, hit the post.
I've just said that.
Have you? Oh, sorry, I wasn't listening. Mind you, now there was anybody else.
Yeah, it won't be the first time, Eddie, that your ears have gone.
I'm sorry, I was talking to some. I was talking to Ian Proctor, getting the stats off him.
Don't blame Ian Proctor.
No, I'm just giving you a reason why I didn't hear the words of wisdom.
We've become Peter Perfect now, have we?
Yes. This is the last 30 seconds of the match that Bradford have had in the...
Oh, silly swinging arm there. Well, we can do without that. Jamie Thackeray. Through one for no reason whatsoever. Seconds to go, and the young fella runs the risk of getting a red card. Whack. Well, it's not open season.
Time off a minute, please.
He's got to put him on report.
Jim, it's all right. We're all right. We've got 20 seconds. Listen, mate. Listen. It's just all it is. We've got 20 seconds. Let's get kicked. One tackle. We're done, mate. Okay. Henry.
There are just 7 seconds remaining.
I mean, I know you've got a big house and you've got lovely surroundings, but, you know, the pheasants that sort of just flutter around your place.
Fountains on the lawn, rolling hills, you're absolutely right.
Still got the lions rampant at the gates?
Yes, of course. That's it. That's your lot. Well, it will be once they've taken the tap.
Will it be a kick and chase?
Well,
I suspect it will be.
From Henry Paul, it's an up and under. It's all hands to the pumps here. Well claimed. That'll do. Oh, and Fielder and Gannon. It's been boiling all night. Well, Fielder gets some treatment from Halifax every time they play. And Stuart Fielder.
Stuart!
Oh dear, dear. The eyes have it.
White-livered there. Thankfully, common sense had prevailed, but something certainly happened between him and Gannon.
There's no love lost between Stuart Fielden and Halifax.
He looks pretty calm about it, though, Brian Noble.
It's all over. The referee's whistle brings a little bit of sanity to events. And Stuart Fielden. Well, he takes some hammer, doesn't he, during the course of a match? Does Fielden. He's only 21. And he managed to keep his cool then, but only just. I don't think Mr. Gannon will be on this Christmas card list somehow.
Without a doubt. Not so sure that it was him that was keeping his cool. 4 players holding him back may have helped. Poured a little bit of ice water over the red-hot head.
Well, all he needs to do is look at the scoreboard, which says 11 tries, 10 goals, 64 points. Against 2 tries, 2 goals, 12 points. Bradford 64-12.